The George Clooney thing broke after the show yesterday. That is staggering to me. Are you kidding? Before we get to the Dan Goldman on Clooney, we should talk about George Clooney. Pretty amazing that he came out for the president to step aside. Yeah.
Says he was the same guy that he was at the fundraiser. Where were you then, George?
Thank you. That's exactly my point.
Where were you then?
It's exactly my point.
You were happy to take that $28 million from all your friends.
Over $30 million now.
And remember, that was the cheap fake.
Right.
When Obama's got to help him off the stage.
Yeah.
We can't believe that.
That's what we were dealing with at the time. He said, but the one battle he, meaning Joe Biden, cannot win is the fight against time. None of us can. It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe big effing deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. Again, this from the man who hosted a fundraiser that took in over $30 million. Wow. By the way, that's
now in a slightly George's defense. I mean, he's having this fundraiser, and then Doofus shows up, and I think he was going to cancel it. Whoa, hey, we're not raising any money for this guy tonight.
Well, no, but you can talk about it. I mean, he kept it quiet.
Yeah, he sure did.
You see the decline, and you say nothing
not a thing
about it. This is exactly what George Washington warned us about. Putting party over the nation, over the country. This is why he said this very thing. However political parties may now and then answer popular ends, they are likely in the course of time and things to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion. So he's talking about your loyalty to the party getting in the way of your patriotism to the country. And that's exactly what has transpired here. It is more important for Democrats and Republicans, too, for that matter, to support the party than it is the country. Put your stupid party politics aside and open up your mouth and say something. Hey, this guy's not capable of being president of the United States. I wouldn't give him your money right now if I were you. And then even if you don't do it during or at the fundraiser, somewhere along the line you say, hey, you know what? I did notice some decline there.
Yeah, and they were still hawking, they made the big deal out of this. The biggest fundraiser, $28 million. So he was out there
biggest one-night haul ever.
Absolutely being all pro-Joe.
Yep.
To get all that money.
Yep.
He wasn't going behind the scenes saying, don't. We didn't walk out of there going, man, he only collected $5 million. I wonder why.
You've got big time liberal celebrities such as George Clooney, such as Stephen King, and others who are saying it's time to step down, old man. And you've got politicians who are caught in between. And then you've got, this is an interesting little quote from Alex Soros. By the way, congratulations on his
we'll get
engagement. So he said, quote, let's stop running against, big fundraiser, obviously runs Open Society Foundation from George. Let's stop running against ourselves and run against the existential threat that is Donald Trump. Biden-Harris 2024, he tweeted. So you got fundraisers, that's the thing. They're still, well, not all of them, but big names like Alex Soros are still on board with Biden.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to the whole money that has to stick with Joe.
And Joe's dug in. Right, he's dug in.
That's the sticking point right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not going anywhere.
It's going to be tough for him when he's losing Hollywood support, though.
I know.
I mean, this is going to affect Hollywood money. Clooney also said, was he tired? Yes. A cold? Maybe. But our party leaders need to stop telling us that 51 million people didn't see what they just saw.
Boom.
Thank you. We're also terrified by the prospect of a second Trump term that we've opted to ignore every warning sign. Well, and him too. I mean, That's what he did for 3 weeks until finally yesterday he said something. The George Stephanopoulos interview only reinforced what we saw the week before. As Democrats, we collectively hold our breath or turn down the volume whenever we see the president, who we respect, walk off Air Force One or walk back to a mic to answer an unscripted question. Really? Where has this been then for the last however long you've been noticing it? And not a word. And you still held the fundraiser.
He sure did.
So he knew before the event. He says Democrats are turning down the volume so they don't have to hear it?
Wow, that's a way to operate.
Yeah, bury your head in the sand. Good idea. And watch the country go right down the tube.
Yep.
Despicable.
It sure is.
It's despicable.